Welcome back to Sigma Programming. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you again for all supporters, all who have donated, all who have liked, commented, and or subscribed. Thank you kindly. Jonah chapter 4 verse 11. You are verses 10 and 11. Jonah chapter 4 verses 10 and 11. You are concerned about a vine that you did not plant or take care of, a vine that grew up in one night and died the next. In that city of Nineveh, there are more than 120,000 people who cannot tell right from wrong, and many cattle are also there. Don't you think I should be concerned about that big city? You are concerned about a vine that you did not plant or take care of. You know, some of the problems we face are the results of vines that we did not plant and that we did not take care of. I believe the more general term is we have to learn how to mind our own business. Yes, we are here to be lights of the world, but we're not here to uproot things that we didn't plant. We're not here to be overly concerned about vines that grew that might be in opposition that we had nothing to do with. If it's not something that we have coming to us, if it's not something that we have reaped, if it's not something that we have sown that we will reap, then it is not our concern. Jonah in this story was shielded by a sweltering heat after awaiting a judgment on a city. This vine gave him shade and it gave him relief. He was at the point where he almost fainted because of the heat, and he sat under the vine cursing the city because he wanted his prediction of destruction to come true. But that prediction of destruction was just a warning that destruction would come if Nineveh didn't learn some common sense. But what happened instead was Jonah was more concerned about the gloom and the doom, and he was preaching his message in bitterness of heart because he went through so much turmoil. This is the one who is infamous for quote unquote running from the Lord. On the ship from Tarshish, he had to be thrown overboard because there was a storm that was raging, and the sailors and everybody else on board was afraid, and Jonah knew what the reason was, so he decided to be thrown overboard. From there you get where he was swallowed up by a fish for 3 days and 3 nights. This is that story. Here's the result of that story. After all of that, still Jonah did not have a heart for the people that he preached to. He didn't have a heart for the people that he was reaching, that he was sent to. He didn't have a heart for them, because it was a vine that he didn't plant and that he didn't take care of, that he was more concerned about, instead of laying his hand to the plow and being more concerned and more focused on the vine that he was planting. He was planting another seed. God sent him to plant another seed, a seed of warning. But he was more concerned about a vine that grew up and shielded him from the heat. And this thing was going in one day. A worm ate it. This is what happens to us when we get more concerned and we become preoccupied with things that are none of our business. Worms will come. Something will eat at you from the inside and cause that thing that gave you relief from the heat, relief from the hot plate, relief from the hot seat. Those things will be all for nothing, because you would be focused on the wrong thing. I would be focused on the wrong thing. We're headed to a big city, so we can't get bent out of shape about a small vine. We have a big mission, so we can't get sidetracked and overwhelmed by a small objective. We have a big purpose, so there's no need to haggle over a small price. There are more than 120,000 people in Nineveh, proverbially, that have no common sense. They don't know their right from their left. They don't know right from wrong. And then it also says there are many cattle also there. Doesn't just mean cows. There are people who are living like wild animals, an allusion to homelessness. There are cattle. There are people living out in the fields in this place. There are people there without shelter. But you're more concerned about something that provided temporary shelter instead of being focused on providing permanent spiritual shelter from a place that has no shelter, whether physically being cattle or spiritually not knowing right from wrong. Don't be concerned about the vine. No, there's a big city that you're being sent to. Be concerned about growing people more than growing money. You need money to survive. It is a form of currency, yes, but focus on the 120,000 who need you rather than on the vine that temporarily feeds you. Thank you for listening again. This is Torian Lockett speaking to you with Sigma Programming. Thank you so much. We have much more to come, but for now, have a spectacular day. Peace.